Gemma here. So this is this week's Pilates level 2/3. Today we're going to be using the circle. I'm going to use some weights, which will be my Heinz cans of beans, and you can use either water bottles or dumbbells if you so wish, or nothing at all. And if you don't have a circle, don't worry, you don't necessarily need to have a circle either. It may be handy to have a pair of tights, or if you've got a band, as an alternative to the circle. If you're injured, then you shouldn't be doing this session. And listen closely for alternatives and adjustments throughout. And if anything feels uncomfortable, then just stop at any time. That's absolutely fine. So let us begin. We're starting with our feet hip distance apart. So remember, if you're not sure what hip distance apart is, feet together. I've got a very squeaky floor today by the sounds of it. Let's move back a little bit. So feet together, turn your feet out like Mary Poppins, and then heels come out and you've got your hip distance apart. Hands by the side, shoulder blades just sliding down into the back pockets. Let's soften the knees a little bit and let's rock the tailbone. So we're tucking the tailbone under. And remember, everybody's range of movement with this is different. So it's just nice and steady, rocking back and forth. Controlled, nice and steady. And what we want is so that we're gently tucking it under so we can bring ourselves into neutral spine. But each time you tuck it under, you're lengthening out those muscles along the back as well. So let us tuck it under and let us hold it under. So now we've got that lengthening, it's tucked, it's going to feel slightly different to your normal posture. Your shoulder blades back and down. Let us focus on our breathing for a few moments. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, into the rib cage, out through the mouth. So breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And this is our lateral breath. This is what we want to be doing through our session. We want to be breathing laterally. And then once you've become accustomed to that lateral breath, which we want to be doing the whole way through the system and through the session, then let's take our focus into our pelvic floor. So remembering that our pelvic floor starts from the back of the bum and it comes round through to the middle and round to the front. Remember that pelvic elevator I mentioned many a times in the past 16 weeks or so? We are 17 weeks now even. We're contracting from the back all the way around to the front. And then once we've got that contraction in place, we're taking our focus into our belly button. We begin to draw the belly button in towards the spine, keeping that tension and stability and holding it there. Shoulder blades back and down, hands by the side. Nice and steady. We've now got all our contractions and adjustments in place. So let's start with some simple just chin drops. Just drop the chin to the chest and then let the head look forward. So we drop the chin to the chest, look forward, drop, look forward, drop. Excuse me, sorry, I could feel that sneeze brewing. So nice and steady, controlled. Let's just have two more. And last one. Cervical rotations just to the side. Remember, we're not twisting, we're just rotating. So certainly. What's wrong with my mouth this morning? I do apologise. Okay, can't speak properly today. Don't make much sense most days. It seems even worse this morning. So nice and steady, just rotating, looking side to side, and then relax, bring it back, lateral. So just slide down, remembering that if we've got osteoporosis, we're going to keep that range small. If we've got any back issues, again, we're going to keep that range small. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm sure it's as soon as I start going into Pilates breathing, I just want to sneeze for some reason. Obviously inhale it, my loft must be dusty. It must need dusting and a vacuum. So nice and steady, control. If you wanted, we could take it a little bit further out from the body, but we want to have this equal range on both sides. So nice and steady. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Two more. Last one. And relax. Okay, let us bring our hands to our shoulders. Elbows up, want them shoulder height, rotations. We rotate to one side, keeping the hips facing forward. Again, remembering if we've got osteoporosis, you're not going to worry about that rotation. But we're just not encouraging. If we don't have osteoporosis, we're not encouraging the rotation. So if we've got osteoporosis, there may be some rotation going on, and that's fine. But if we don't have that diagnosis, we're not encouraging that rotation. The tailbone is tucked under, the core is strong and engaged, as is the pelvic floor. So one more to the right, one more to the left. Sassy walking out, hands by the side, let it swing, bend the knees into the balls of the feet, nice and steady. And remember, when we're sassy walking, it doesn't matter, the hips can shift side to side, that's absolutely fine. It's not about keeping them level. There's a little bit of freedom in this movement. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready for monkey squats. So feet to hip distance apart. If we've got shoulder issues, keep the hands by the side. We gently push out and up. Tailbone under. And we want to make sure that as we come down, we can see our toes. Inhale, exhale. So nice and steady. So 4 more. Last 2. Relax, feet together, hands to the hips. Check the hips are level. So draw those index fingers across, remembering that if they're slightly out and you know you've got that diagnosis of having one hip higher, don't worry about that adjustment. Easy peelers. So when we're easy peeling, heels coming off the floor, we're just coming into the balls of the feet. I'm just going to turn the light on because it's looking a little bit dark-ish, whether that'll make much difference. So nice and steady, controlled, hips level, shoulders level. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Gently lift one foot, rotate in one direction. And remember, you could do this and have the big toe on the floor and then the other direction. And relax, bring it down. Same with the other foot. So big toe on the floor or slightly lifted, rotate in one direction and then the other direction. And then relax, shake it out. Shake it out and shake your wrists out. Okay, so we're starting with our circle. If you don't have a circle, use your band or a pair of tights for this. And I say a pair of tights because they've got the elasticity in. We're going to step into the circle. Just checking. Yeah, that's working. So if you don't have a circle, take your band, bring your legs together or your pair of tights, tie mid-thigh, nice and tight, and then step hip distance apart. So you've got some tension there. Core's nice and strong. Feet are facing forward, they're hip distance apart. I'm just turning sideways. So we're going for monkey squats, remembering that if you've got shoulder issues, you can just keep them out by your side or across the chest, that's fine. Otherwise, we come out and up. So inhale and exhale. So as you're going through this movement, I just want to talk through a few things as you go through it, so keep going. So make sure that your knees aren't dropping in, that they're staying straight forward. So the knees are pointing forward. So remember, we think of our hips as the headlights, knees are running lights. They're facing forward as you go through that posture. And also you can see those toes as you're going down. The tailbone's tucked under. If I placed a marble on top of your head, it would just roll straight off. So we're down and up. So let's have 4 more, and on the 4th we're going to stay at the bottom. For 4, 3, 2, hold it here. Now make sure tailbone's still tucked under. You see me there having to adjust myself. Remember, it's always good to have mirrors about you. You can bring your hands across the chest if your shoulders are getting tired or you've got shoulder issues. Let's have a pulse here just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Take a deep breath. Exhale, come up. Step together, slip the circle off and just pop it to the side for a moment. Once you've popped it to the side, I'm just going on a side view again. Bring your feet together, hands on your hips. We're just going for the mandatory leggings adjustment there. So hands on the hips, bend your right leg. So the big toe is just resting on the floor. Tailbone is under, neutral spine. Now we can either do this 2 ways. We can keep the big toe on the floor as we squat down, or we can have that leg float as we squat down, okay? So it's up to you. So get yourself in position, neutral spine, pelvic floor engaged, abdominal belt. Inhale and exhale. And if we wanted, we could add in our arms as we come through that movement. So toe could be resting on the floor or floating. Keep going, just hands face you. So make sure that as you go through that movement, the supporting leg is bending. We're keeping the hips level. There's a hinge at the hips. Arms come forward if you want to use them. Otherwise, you can have them across the chest. You might want them on your hips. That's going to help you balance a little bit. Remember, you can always use a chair for your balance if you need to. So 4 more. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Hold and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Sassy walk. Swing it out. Swing it out. What we do one side, we must do the other side. So nice and steady. Feet hip distance apart, hands on the hips. Make sure you've got that postural. Ignore. My brain's just not working today. Make sure you've got that slight tilt. You've got that neutral spine position, pelvic contraction, abdominal belt in place. Now, as soon as we lift that big toe, what happens? We want to shift to one side. Hips want to tilt. So make sure you've got that correction. Big toe can be on the floor or floating. We come down and up, and if we want to increase that challenge, we can add the arms as we go. And even if we wanted, we could bring the toe down and add the arms. It is really tough. So as you're going through this posture, you need to be thinking about the stability, keeping the balance between the 2 points. When I say the 2 points, whether it's the big toe resting on the floor, the big toe floating in the air, you want to be keeping the hips level. You want to be keeping the body stable. We don't want to be rocking to one side. Your body's going to keep going. The body's going to naturally want to do that because that is your brain's way of like trying to stabilize you. It's going to be like, oh, don't do this. If I put my weight into this leg, I'll be stable. So, but what we want to do is keep the shoulders, the hips level. Keep all those connections going. So just for 4 and 3 and 2, last one, hold. Let's have a pulse just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. and relax. Bring it down. Time to grab your circle again. Bend your knees as you do so. Now, if you've not got the circle and you're using a band or a pair of tights, you're going to have to do this slightly different. So it'll be working slightly different muscles, okay? But you'll still be working. Both of you, whether you've got a circle or not, whether you're using a band, you'll be working hard. So if you haven't got a circle, legs together again, take your band and wrap it round, okay? Tighten nice tight knots so they're really nice and tight. If you have a circle, take your band in between your legs. So, if you have a circle, we're squeezing and releasing, squeezing and releasing. Now your feet are a bit wider than hip distance apart, so squeeze, release, squeeze, release. If you've got your band, you're going to take your legs out as wide as we have them, so a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and you're pushing outwards, so you're going to want to push the legs outwards and keep the tension on the band. So nice and steady. It's not a huge movement. Pelvic floor's engaged, tailbone's under, abdominal connection going on. In fact, you can see I'm barely moving. I'm just working the inner thighs. What you could do, if you had, say you've got like a beach ball, or even if you wanted to focus on the inner thigh, because obviously if you've got the band the other way around, you're changing which muscles you're working. If you really wanted to focus on the inner thigh and you didn't have the circle, a ball between the legs to squeeze that's got slightly less air in, just like a Pilates ball, really doesn't matter. If you've got a football, you can take a little bit of air out of it, or a sort of soft ball, then it will be just as effective, okay? So nice and steady. Or just imagine, I've talked in other sessions about use your imagination. Imagine you're squeezing a ball between your legs. You can do that, and it does make it harder. You've just got to focus on that visualization that you're pressing against. So just for 4, 3, 2, and then just hold it tight. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, bend the knees, take it out, pop it down again. Make sure you bend your knees. Don't do that, just throw it down like me there. So, next position, feet together, hands on the hips, tailbone under, shoulder blades back and down. Big toe resting on the floor. I need to move. I can't deal with the squeaking floor. It's so bad there at the moment. So, nice and steady. Big toe can be on the floor. It can be here or here, anywhere in between hip height. All we're doing is taking it out to the side. Now, hands, fingers are on the hip bones. We want to feel those hips again. I've mentioned already about our headlights. They're pointing forward and then drawing them back. So inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. So nice and steady. Or we have the leg lifted, but I've got my hands on my hips and I'm making sure that that hip's not rotating out. If the hip on the side of the leg that's moving is rotating out, then we need to make our range smaller. So just for 4, 3, 2, 1, bring it back. Easy peelers, the easy peelers. Nice and steady. Bringing the energy in, hips level, shoulders level. Let's do the other side. So big toe can be resting on the floor, up off the floor, anywhere in between hip height. We can have it skim along the floor, so I'm just going to place mine here. And all we're doing, hips are level, out to the side and back. Fingers are on those hip bones because we want to make sure that those headlights are facing forward. Sorry to sound like a broken record. So nice and steady. We're breathing in as we take it out. Breathing out as we bring it back. So controlled. Nice and steady. So last 2. Last 1, and then bring it back. Easy peelers again. Come back to those easy peelers. Now, we're going to do a move from yoga, but we also use this in Pilates. Don't use it very often in Pilates. but it is a good one to do. So we're going to work on our balance a little bit more here. So feet together, tailbone under, shoulders relaxed, tree position. But I just want you to do this first position, okay? So I want you to do this position first, and if you feel good, once we've done all our adjustments, then you can by all means take it a little bit higher, no higher than the knee though, okay? So staying below the knee. So bring your hands to the hips. First thing you want to do is make sure that the hips are level. So index fingers come across and then back. Now, shoulder blades are back and down. We can stay here, or once you've got that position, your hips are level. If you wanted to make the challenge harder, you can take the foot to the side of the calf. Now, the important thing is if you do that, check again that your hips stay level. And then let your hands relax down. Whilst we're focusing, we're keeping the hips level. We inhale up and we exhale down. And we continue with that breath. Exhale. Keep going. I'm just going to talk you through it as we're going through it. So, don't focus on me. Obviously, I'm moving, gesticulating, and I've come out of that posture. Focus on something that you can keep your eyes on that's completely still. Definitely never use another human being. You want to be keeping the hips level, the shoulders level. You want to be pressing the foot against the leg and the leg against the foot. So it's an equal pressure on both sides. The stability is strong. We're working the left side, the right side of the brain. The breath work of breathing in and breathing out is going to challenge your balance a little bit more. And if you're feeling good and you're feeling confident and strong as you go this, you may want to take some long blinks or close the eyes as you're doing it to add an even extra layer of challenge. So this is really good for helping that stability work, that balance work, that as we get older in life is absolutely crucial for us to be doing, okay? Balance and stability, working the left and right side of the brain, absolutely crucial the older we get, the more we age. So let's have one more. And this time you're just going to hold it in that balanced posture. So just hold it in that posture. Hips are level. Remember, we can always bring our hands back to check. Hands just in prayer. Fingers, thumbs just into the sternum. Shoulder blades back and down. Tailbone tucked under. Pelvic contraction, abdominal connection going on. Nice juicy peach under the chin. Inhale up. Exhale. Feet hip distance apart. Sassy walk it out. So, what we do one side, we must do the other. So nice and steady. And relax. Okay, bring your feet together. Same again. So if you already know that you felt quite good taking it into that second position, then you can go straight for that. Otherwise, big toe on the floor, hands on the hips. Check their level first. Remember, if you've got socks on, that's going to make you less stable. If you're on a carpet, you're on your mat, again, it's going to challenge your balance twofold. So if you're feeling good in that position, you want it to go a bit higher. Also be conscious about the fact that you've probably got lycra on if you've got leggings. So my leggings are quite slippy. Shoulder blades back and down, hips still level. Use your breath. Same through the nose, out through the mouth. Hands just grazing the wall. So keep going nice and steady. Remembering, then even if you go down, you just come back up when you're ready. That's absolutely fine. So taking your time. There's no rush. We are tortoises when we are on the Pilates mat. Last two. Last one. Stay here, thumb into the sternum, just hold that posture, hips still level. Remember, we can always check, shoulders level. Wobbling myself, inhale round. Exhale, sassy walk, last time. Now it's time for us to use our dumbbells, canned produce, water bottles, or nothing at all if you don't want to. That's absolutely fine. So, bending my knees, so make sure you bend your knees as you pick up. So I've got my little cans of beans. Okay, but you could use water bottles as long as it's the same weight, or soup, or whatever canned produce you've got in your house. That's absolutely fine. So, feet hip distance apart. Remember, if you're not sure, feet together, Mary Poppins, heels out, we've got our hip distance. So we're going to start with bringing ourselves into a slight, not a full monkey squat. We're going to push our bum out behind. There's going to be a bend in the knees, so you've got that hinge at the hip, and the chest is slightly forward. So I'm just turning to a side view. I'm going to need to come a little bit closer so I don't knock the wall as well. So, bob out, tailbone tucked under, check you can see your toes, chest is slightly forward. We lift up and down. We're going to go higher than shoulder height. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So nice and steady, controlled. So working into the chest, into the back, mainly into the back on this one. There's a little bit of chest work going on as well. So 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Bring it down. Come up, roll your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll them the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your palms forward. Bicep curls, elbows into the waist. Just roll them up and roll them down. Ensuring that as we roll, the wrist isn't dropping or flopping, okay? So remember, we want strong wrists and forearms in alignment. Inhaling, exhaling. Nice and steady. Controlled. Just for 8. Last 6. So working into that bicep, the front of the arm. Last 4. Last 3. And 2. And last 1. Take it down. This time, take the arms behind. So we do this normally without weights. So you can do this without weights, and you can do any of these exercises without weights, by the way. So knees are slightly soft, as if we're trying to clap them together, just bringing them behind. So nice and steady. Just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. This time, bring your arms up to shoulder height, and I think we're going to lose sight of my arms a little bit as we do this. But so arms start 90 degrees, push up and down, up and down. I'm just going to, so you could change your stance and have a split stance as you do these, but I'm just going to bend my knees, come down a little bit. So my arms are straightening up, wrists and forearms, trying to do it so you can see. If I bring my arm a bit lower, you can see. So keep an eye on those wrists, that they're not flopping. So I prefer a split stance with this exercise, shoulder press, but you might prefer being hip distance. Being conscious the arms, do you see my arms dropped in? That they don't drop in. So we've got to keep that control. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, bring it down, roll. Now, pop your dumbbells, can produce down, bending the knees as you do so. Hands together, drop the chin, pull the shoulder blades slightly apart. And then take them up above. Hold it there for a moment. Take it behind. So elbows draw together. Oh gosh, my shoulders feel tight after that. And then just relax. A really nice stretch we can do, I'm just going to do it for a few minutes on both sides, is take your right arm out, left arm out, take them underneath as if you're giving yourself a hug and as if you're just pulling those 2 shoulder blades apart. So just hold it there. Hold it there. and that's just really releasing into around the scapulas as well. So just change over, same again, this time, take your right arm over the top, left hand underneath, and do the same stretch. So you're just pulling slightly on the scapulas, opening up along the side of the shoulder, the spine, which is really nice to do. So if you're quite rounded in your shoulders, you struggle with tightness, impingements in your shoulder blades or trapped nerves, this is just a lovely stretch to do. Then relax. Sorry, my brain went dead there for a moment. Relax. So now we're going to come down onto our mat. So come to the end of your mat. Have your cushion, block, circle, dumbbells nearby. Feet hip distance apart. Let's inhale up. Bend the knees, monkey squat. Hands down. We're on all fours. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. So in this position, push the tailbone towards the back of the room. Elbows are slightly toughed. Remember, if we've got wrist issues, we can rest on our foot, on our wrists, on our fists. I'm so sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Actually had a reasonably good night's sleep. So we are resting on our fists or our hands, whatever feels right for you. Elbows are slightly soft, tailbone to the back of the room, shoulder blades joined together. We've got a table, okay? So I could rest my Sunday roast, I could pour my lash into gravy. All my roasties would be lovely and covered in gravy, but you wouldn't be spilling any of that gravy off the plate. Eyes and nose are looking down, tuck under and back. So tuck under and back. Remembering it is the lumbar spine that is moving, nothing more. So nice and steady. With control, softness in the elbows. So just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Stabilize. This time we're going to take our right arm and left leg out, and we're going to hold in that extension in pointed up. So we take it out and we hold. Eyes and nose are looking down. What we want is the hips to be level. So stay where you are, I'm talking you through it. Hips are level, shoulders are level. You shouldn't be tilting to one side more than the other, and that goes for the shoulders or the hips. If you are, reduce the level, reduce the range of where your arm is, or reduce the level of your leg. Remember, the leg and the arm should never be higher than the head or the spine. We're trying to create a complete table. Okay, so you're holding it there. You've got that contraction going on, pelvic floor, abdominal connection. You're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Hold it there, nice and strong, stable. Bring it down. Let's do the same on the opposite side. So taking it out and we're just holding it in place. Holding it in place. Keep it still, keep it stable, stay there. Stay there. Nice and strong. Be conscious that everything's level. Bring it down. Knees as wide as your mat. Big toes together. Come into shell stretch. Arms out in front. Remembering that we can always put a cushion between the bum and the heels. If shell stretch is uncomfortable because of the rotation out in the hips and the knees, come into child's pose, or come onto the knees and just push the bum up in the air and let the arms reach forward rather than lowering the bum. Hold it there for a few moments, just stretching out. Tough on the wrist, so we're going to give them a little stretch in a second. So taking a deep breath. As you exhale, gently bring your hands in, gently push up onto your knees. Once you're there, just gently bring one hand in front, gently push against the fingers, the palms of the hands. Just feel that stretch along the front. Hold it. And then change. So opposite direction, gently press and hold. And then opposite side, so gently press back. So same stretch again, pressing back. And then pressing on the back of the hand and hold it there for a moment. So gently taking a deep breath in. As you exhale, come up onto your knees. So we did this a little bit last week, and remember, if you have knee issues, you can put a cushion underneath your knees, roll up a towel, you could rest on a block if you so wish. Hands across your chest, core nice and strong. We're just coming back by 30 degrees and forward. So keeping that tuck, core strong, back and forth. So you're inhaling as you come back. Exhale. So 4 more, just for 4. So you should be feeling this into the thighs as you're going through this plane of motion. Last 2. And last 1. And then relax. Very gently, we're coming down onto our front now. So coming down onto our front, remembering if you need a cushion, to pop a cushion underneath your head. For this first exercise, you can take your hands and place your forehead on the back of the hand. So you just place the hands in front if that feels okay. So in that position, nice and steady, we're just going to lift one leg up at a time and bring it down. So we lift it up and down. Now as we go through this motion, be really conscious. So the feet are hip distance apart, both hips are pressing into the mat. You've got your pelvic and abdominal connection going on. Okay. If you've got sciatica, let the foot just be relaxed. If you've not got sciatica, you can add a little bit of a point into your toes, which is going to get a little bit more, you're going to feel it a little bit more, but you don't have to do that. That's just optional. But as we go through this movement, what we want to do is feel the glutes activating and the hamstrings activating. So that's the muscles on the back of the thigh and our bottom. So nice and steady, core is engaged. So when we do this movement, it should go hamstrings activate, glute activate, erector spinae activate, and a little bit of the latissimus dorsi, if I remember rightly, activate. So coming up into the back. They should go in that order. So what you want to be conscious of is feeling, are my hamstrings working? Are my glutes working? I feel like my back's activating. So the back should be activating on the very last part of the movement when you're bringing the leg up. So being conscious. So let's have one more on the right, one more on the left. And then bring it down. This time, both toes are pointing. So remember, if you've got sciatica issues, don't worry about having your feet pointing, just have them relaxed. That's absolutely fine. Otherwise, we've got our toes pointing, bringing them up. So bending both legs towards the bottom to 90 degrees. We then flex, point, and down. So it's up, flex, point, and down. And if I've got sciatica, I've just got relaxed foot. I can either flex them if I want to, or I can just keep them relaxed. Still going to be getting work, even if I'm not doing that flex and point. I'm still recruiting muscles as I go through it. Yes, it's going to be slightly different. Yes, you're not recruiting as many. But the important thing is, if you've got sciatica, then the last thing you want to be doing is aggravating it, because it's a pain in the ass. So, point, flex, point, and down. Point, flex, point, and down. Last 4. Nice and steady. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. And down. Give your bum a little shake. Just check it's nice and soft still. Take your feet as wide as your mat. You know what's coming because I love gluteal bracing. It's so good for you. So nice and steady, feet are hip distance apart, very gently. Let's do singular gluteal bracing. So right cheek kisses the left, relaxes. Left cheek kisses the right, relaxes. Left kisses. Right kisses. Left. Nice and steady. So we're just contracting either side. And take note, is one being more active than the other? Or they're both equal? Which part of the glute is acting first? Is one glute, so obviously you've got your glute max, glute medius, piriformis, you've got lots of different elements going on in there. So think of it as like top, middle, bottom. Do you feel like one part, whether it's the top or the middle or the bottom, is working more than the rest? Just taking time to really be conscious, witness what's going on in the glutes. Because that can really be a sign that maybe we're not recruiting the muscles correctly, maybe a certain area needs more work. Now, let's just have one more on the left and let it relax. Let's just have 8 double gluteal bracing. So just squeeze in, relax. And remember the knees, the ankles are rotating in, but they don't lift off the floor. They stay in contact with the mat the whole time. Nice and steady. So last 4. And 3. I don't know why I'm singing. Because I can't. 2. Last 1. And relax. Shake it out. Bring the feet back to hip distance apart. This time, just gently lift the head, the chest, and then bring it down. We lift and bring it down. And if you was wanting to make this more advanced, you can bring your hands by your side. Lift the arms as you go through the movement. Or just keep the hands in front, just lift the chest. I have a little rib that pops whenever I do anything where I lift my chest off the floor. So any exercise where I'm lifting my chest is really uncomfortable for me. So nice and steady. Last 4. Using your breath. Inhale as you come up. And the last 2. And the last one on the glutes should certainly be switched off as you're doing this. Gently let your head turn in one direction, let it relax there for a moment. And a little bit of a rest here. I feel like working the glutes and the lower back. And then turn the head in the opposite direction. And very gently, we're going to roll onto our side. And as we roll onto our side, we're going to roll over onto our backs. As we do so, grab your circle if you have a circle, or your band or tights, or your ball if you managed to, if you've got balls, then you can do the same. So, laying on our backs, nice and steady, hands just by the side of the bottom, feet hip distance apart. Remember, if not sure to do that, knees, feet together, turn them out like a penguin, heels turn out. We've got our hip distance position. Should be neutral spine, so there should be a little bit of space, a little bit of hollowing in the back, unless you know you've got flat back. I should be looking up towards the ceiling, so being conscious that they're looking up, not behind, not in front. Very gently, all we're going to begin to do is tuck the tailbone. So we tuck the tailbone up towards the ceiling, imprint the lower back, mid, upper, release the upper, release the mid, release the lower, come back to neutral spine. So we allow the whole body to be in contact and then rocking it forward. So nice and steady, controlled. Ignore me scratching. to moisturise a bit more. And my skin's drying out with the sun. I say the sun, we've not really had much, have we? We've had more clouds this past week, or two. I don't know, every week fades into one another. So nice and steady. Just going through that in-print movement, and this is really going to help get that synovial fluid, that lubricant going around, strengthening pelvic floor, deep transverse abdominis, right spine, and lots of different muscles as we go through the motion. So just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Come back to that neutral spine. Staying in that position to begin with. Let's just begin to draw the belly button. So we've got that 25-30% recruitment going on in the abdominals. Let's now take it to, try and take it down to an 80-90%, so that hollowing of the tummy. So we gently begin to draw the belly down as if I've got that ice cream scoop and I'm pulling it down towards the spine, so you feel that tension all across the lower part of the abdominals, and then gently bring it back. So again, pull it down. Let's hold it in that taut position for 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it back to 25-30%. Don't bring it back to 0. And then again, draw it down, holding it this time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release it back to your 25-30%. Very gently begin to scoop and hollow, and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it back to that 25-30%. Again, gently drawing it down as taut, as tight as you can. You should feel the muscles kind of go, what's happening? So hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gently let it come back, 25-30%. And again, take it down, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Bring it back one last time. Can we do it for 20 seconds? Scoop and hollow as taut as you can for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let it come back to that 30%, 25-30%, should I say. Hands by the side, we're going to go straight into our bridge. Take a deep breath. As we exhale, tuck the tailbone, imprint lower back, lift up. Let's take it into bridge. Let's hold it in bridge. Remember, knees, hips, shoulders, lovely diagonal line. Hands on ribs, make sure they're not splaying up towards the ceiling. If they are, draw it down a little bit. Hold that position, nice and steady, controlled. Can we, in this position, lift both heels up and down? So holding and down, holding and down. Just for 8, nice and steady, eyes up to the ceiling. 7, shouldn't have a cushion under your neck, remember when we're doing bridge. 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Bridge, hold, take a deep breath. Exhale, gently, 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 gently. Upper, mid, lower. Just rock the pelvis a few times. Just give me 4 rocks back and forth. Nice and steady and controlled. Then gently bring both feet together, knees together. Gently sway. 5 past, 5, 2. Remember, if you've got back issues, keep it small. If you're comfortable and you can go further, then please do so. But you're in control, remember. You know what feels right for your body and what doesn't. So now, let us take our circle. So I would say if you do not have a circle, don't use your band for this next one. In the past few sessions, past few weeks, I've talked about the imaginary ball. Imagine your imaginary ball between your thighs. So we're taking the circle between the legs. So I would say to just imagine you've got a ball between the legs, okay? So hands by the side, we're just going to squeeze and hold and then release, but don't let momentum take it out. So we squeeze, we hold, core is engaged, pelvic floor is engaged, release, don't let momentum take it. So it's really slow and steady. And we're just going for 8, release, and 7, and release, and 6, and release, and 5, and release, and 4, and release, and 3, and release, and 2, and release, and last one. Let's just hold it, because you can. Pelvic floor, abdominal connection going on, that pelvic neutral spine. Breathing nice and deep. We are just holding. You can do this. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Take it out. As you take it out, let the soles of the feet come together and the knees open up. So we're having that little Baddha Konasana, as we call it in yoga, cobbler, bound angle, stretch. It's got so many different inner thigh stretch, it's got a number of different names. So let us just hold it there. Remember, we can place our hands on the thighs just to help aid that stretch, just pressing down. Or maybe we want to rub, bring a little bit of warmth into that area if we so wish. But we don't have to. We can just let our hands rest by the side. Just hold it there for a few moments while you just enjoy that stretch. Breathing nice and deep. We're almost there at the end. It's surprisingly gone very fast today. So take a nice deep breath. As you exhale, bring the legs back up. This time, take your circle again. So this time, if you've got a band or circle, this would be the time to use it. A band. Yeah, so you could use your band in the same way or a pair of tights in the same way. We're going to slip our legs through the circle and place it so it's on the side of the thighs. So if you had a band or a pair of tights, you'd bring your thighs together, tie it nice and tight, and then bring the feet hip distance apart. So that would be doing exactly the same exercise, just using a pair of tights or a band. So, hands by the side. We're going into bridge again. This time it's a bridge. We're going up and we're bringing it down. So hands by the side, let us take a deep breath in. As we lift, tailbone up, and then bring it down. So remember, it's a sequential movement as we go through this bridge position. So we imprint, lift, 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 lower, upper, mid, lower, neutral spine. So it's tucking the tailbone up, lift, lift, lift. Being conscious that those ribs aren't splaying up. Nice and steady, control as you go through bridge position. And I know sometimes you can feel like, well, I don't know how you feel, I'm not you, but some people feel like bridge is sort of like, you know, you're working so many things in bridge, okay? So you're activating your glutes, your hamstrings, your core, there's lots of different things going on. It's so much better than doing a plank. And I know plank is hard, and maybe you think, oh, but plank is hard, I'm getting so much out of it. But it's so much. It's, you know, when you watch people do plank, it's so easy for things to go wrong. It's so quick for you to get tired that this is just such a far super. Personally, I feel bridge is pretty much doing the same thing, if a bit, you know, if not a bit more, is much more effective. It's much safer. It's just a superior exercise. And although you may think it doesn't feel as hard as the plank, I think I'd rather do an exercise that's safer and know that I can keep my form for longer than do something that I always just feel like plank. As soon as you go into plank, it just feels hard. Good quality exercise is the bridge. That's what we like. That's what I like anyway, and I'm waffling. It's almost, I was going to say, it's almost home time. It's almost switch off time, so you get to shut my mouth up in a moment. Or maybe you just watch this video with me on mute. I won't burn me for that either. So nice and steady. Let's do one more. And then gently bringing it down. As you bring it down, slip the band tight or circle off, pop it to the side, and just giving those pelvic rocks. So we're just rocking the pelvis backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Feet together, knees together, 5 past 2, 5 to 2, 5 past 2, 5 to 2. So very gently. Let us now roll onto a side where we feel comfortable. Remember, if we've got blood pressure issues, we're going to roll onto our left, gently push up, come onto all fours. Gently come up, been on the floor a little while for about 20 minutes. Let's just take our arms, swing it out a little bit. Don't worry, we're going to stretch the hands and the quads standing up today. Which is weaker, left or right, right or left, left or right. Very gently. Take one leg up and take a moment to focus on making sure you've got stability, strength. Foot flat to floor makes it more challenging. Toes tucked under gives you support. Remember, if this is not a comfortable way for you to come, if it's still comfortable on your knees, then that's fine. Come up in a fashion that is right and comfortable for you. So shoulder blades back and down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now, feet hip distance apart. Let's sassy walk it out a little bit. We're going to do some stretches. So, nice and steady. Sassy walk, let everything sway, let everything be free. And let it relax down. Take your right foot in front, hands to your hips, push your bum back, bend this supporting leg slightly, foot flat to the floor. We'll hold in this position. I'm just changing my angle so you can see my position from the side. Okay, so I've got that hinge from the hips, tailbone tucked under. Now, this is stretching my hamstrings. Now I can change the stretch so it brings in, recruits more muscles by lifting the toes up if I wish. But if I've got sciatica again, I'm going to keep that foot down. Okay? We've got to be careful with hamstring stretches and sciatica because it's like getting a poker. So if that sciatica is not active, then a hamstring stretch is fine to do, but I would say don't go too far, don't go trying to advance it. So just hold it there. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, slowly come up, core strong. This time we're stretching out the quads, so stretching out the same leg. You may want to use a wall or a chair for balance. We lift the leg up, knees together, hips tilted forward, neutral spine, and hold. Staying where you are. If you're holding that position and you're not holding on to anything, you're using your stability and balance, you can always push your tongue to the roof of your mouth to help with your stability. Find a focus point, not me, not another human, and hold. And you should be feeling that along the front of the thighs, okay? So the big quadricep muscle in the front of the thigh. Breathing nice and deep. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, take it down. Sassy walk it out again, because you've got sass. I don't know why I said that. Oh, I need to go back to bed today, get back out of bed, I think. I went to sleep for an hour and then get up again. Nice and steady. Relax. So, opposite foot comes in front. Hands on the hips. Hinge, bend that supporting leg. Toes flat to the floor, or you can lift them. Your call. Nice and steady. Core engaged. Shoulder blades back and down in those back pockets. Nice lovely peach under that chin. Holding it there for a few moments. And let us take a deep breath. Slowly come up, quadricep. So opposite leg this time. Comes up. Remember, if we've got a chair or a wall, we can use that to assist us. We can hold the leggings, the socks. hips facing forward, chest facing forward. We can push the tongue to the roof of the mouth to assist and just hold it there. Just feeling along the front of the thigh, nice and stable. And relax, bring it down. Shake it out. Take your legs nice and wide. Let's have a different stretch at the end. Let's inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feet hip distance apart, tailbone under, pelvic floor engaged, abdominal belt. Peach under the chin, let us stay in that posture. And we will be robotic in everything we do. No. So well done. Hopefully you're feeling okay and doing all right. I know everything's weird, isn't it, these days? So take care. Hope you enjoyed that. And ciao for now. Au revoir.